Hello, and welcome back to the Spooky Swans podcast. I'm Josh,
And I'm Jess.
and this week we're going to be talking about a movie that is from my childhood. I showed you later on.
You showed me later on, yes. I had no idea that this ever premiered.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't. It was kind of, I wouldn't say obscure, but more forgotten to an extent. But, so I want to go back a ways before, this movie. This movie came out in 2000. So before that, let's talk Nickelodeon for a minute. So back in the 80s, they started a show because children's horror wasn't really a thing yet. So they started a show called The Third Eye, which was like an anthology series that had kids in it, but it wasn't really directed at kids. And then that ran for 2 seasons, but then that grew into Are You Afraid of the Dark, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. That premiered back in 1991, which was a year before the first Goosebumps book even came out.
I was going to say, could it be around the time that Goosebumps came out?
1 year before the first book came out.
Gotcha.
Because then Goosebumps premiered as a TV show in 1995.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so not too far after the first book. But Are You Afraid of the Dark was the first show that was really for kids in, like, crazy, spooky situations. You got ghosts, you got monsters, you got all kinds of stuff. I think one of the episodes there was, like, a murdering clown. Like, crazy stuff for kids. But still pretty tame. Then you get to, 1995, Goosebumps starts. And if anyone has watched that, I still watch it to this day. Same kind of setup, different story every episode. For kids, spooky shit. Talking dolls and monster blood and all that fun stuff. But again, it was still pretty tame. So that both of those shows lasted till almost right before 2000, and then they ended. And then Nickelodeon decided, oh, we need a movie, a scary movie for kids for Halloween, because we don't have a show anymore. We need a movie that they could sit and enjoy and get scared at, which they kind of messed up.
They took it a little too far.
A little bit. To the point where people complained. We'll get into that more. But I watched this movie when it first aired. So it aired Halloween night in 2000. I remember watching this as a little kid. And this movie it's called Crybaby Lane. Now, you could watch it on YouTube now, that's where we usually watch it. It's fun to watch because they have all the old like Nickelodeon commercials kind of mixed in.
Yeah, it was on the Splat, and the original is on there too, hosted by Melissa Joan Hart, and it was like a Snick's Halloween special.
Yeah, Snick was like Teen Nick. And yeah, they had Melissa Joan Hart because she was popular at the time for Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So they're like, yeah, just have her host, which they did a lot of that back then.
I asked Josh, I was like, do you think she actually sat there and watched the film?
No.
She just was like, oh, here's a spooky film called Crybaby Lane.
Yeah,
next.
They did that a lot. All their movies. They did that with the Kenan and Kel Halloween movie. Cousin Skeeter Halloween movie, all these.
I wonder if she ever gets questions of like, oh my god, I can't believe you hosted this film.
I swear, if I ever met her, I would ask her, and I guarantee she would have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
You might be surprised. Maybe she's like, oh yeah, like, I was just as surprised as you.
The movie's fucked. But, yeah, so we, like I said, I watched this when it first aired. I was a little kid. I showed Jess this a couple years back because I was, sitting there going through old movie trailers on YouTube as I do when I'm bored, and came across that, and I forgot all about it till then. But yeah, it's too scary for kids.
It is. It's just the whole concept of what it's about was just, like, the plot of it was just too scary for kids. But then the plot you can get past, but how they executed some of the scenes was insane. I was like, this is not for kids. I was like, this is a great horror movie, but they put it on the wrong platform.
Yes, 100%. And yeah, so we'll get into it. They aired the movie one time because, like I mentioned, people complained. Parents were calling in and saying, basically, like, what the fuck? Like, this is too much for kids.
This is so scary. My kids are having nightmares. They're calling. They're sending letters. Parents are complaining. So, what does Nickelodeon do? They, quote-unquote, forget the film.
Yeah, they mention that a lot. They're like, oh, it just didn't do great. We forgot about it. But, like, no, people complain.
Oh, it's forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah, forgotten film. And then it resurfaced years later on a Reddit forum, of all places. 2011. People were talking about, like, hey, do you guys remember this fucking movie from 2000, this and that? And everyone's like, yeah, what was that? And then someone was like, I recorded it on VHS, and I don't know how he managed to do it, but he uploaded it to the internet for people to watch, and then it made a resurgence. And then they aired it again on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, so I actually wrote down the dates that they aired it again. They aired it just a couple times, a handful of times. Mm. So they ended up airing it again that same year of 2011 on Teen Nick on Halloween Day because of that Reddit post, and people were kind of bringing it to light and being like, well, what happened to this film? Oh, Nickelodeon, you banned it. And Nickelodeon was like, no, we didn't ban it. We just, forgot about it. It's forgotten.
It just didn't do great.
So I think to make the people happy, they played it again on Halloween that year.
Yeah. And yeah, it's an odd movie. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, I'll say that, but we'll get into it. So basically the story is, now there's these two kids, Andrew and Carl, they're brothers, and they like to hang out with the mortician of their town, of all people. And played by Frank Langella, who, I mean, he's huge. You would know him. Masters of the Universe, Dracula, The Ninth Gate. It goes on. He's been in a lot. So he's the Undertaker. He likes to hang out with these children, make them coffee, and then tell them scary stories. So on this particular night, he tells them the story from their hometown, which takes place in Ohio, but it was filmed in New Jersey.
Ohio. It was filmed primarily in New Jersey, in, what was the town called? Kingston, New Jersey. But then the town overview, they took like a couple scenes from Ohio. Mm. They had just one day to kind of just like bring the camera and pretend like it's in Ohio.
Yeah, because the director, I believe, is from Ohio.
Yes.
And the story I'm about to tell you is a real story he was told when he was a kid about his hometown. So the story that the mortician tells them on this particular night, there's a farmer and his wife who live, down a dirt road in that town, and the farmer's wife gives birth to
Siamese twins. And he's ashamed. Like, he's embarrassed by the kids. So he locks them away in the house and doesn't tell anybody about them.
And as the years go by, they get older, they grow, and it becomes more apparent that one is good and one is clearly evil. And they show that by showing toys with like the heads ripped off and stuff like that. So as the years go on, they get sick because they share the same liver, they both die. Now, I guess the town knew that they had a kid, they didn't know they were Siamese because they did plan to bury the one in the town cemetery. So to do this, the farmer, and this is all details they give, he takes a rusty hacksaw and unjoins the twins. And the good one he buries in the town cemetery at a nice marked grave. The evil one he buried in a shallow grave off a dirt road that nobody knew about. And legend has it, if you walk down that road alone at night, you could still hear the evil twin crying out for vengeance from the shallow grave. Creepy shit. It's probably too scary for kids, especially when you mention the hacksaw part.
Already starts off too creepy. I would not be putting this on for my kids. Maybe my teenagers.
I would put it on for our kids because I'm unhinged. But
yeah, that's true.
Normal people wouldn't.
Unfortunately, I don't really get to say, like, if you're watching the kids, you're going to put, like...
And be watching some spooky shit.
The Crypt Keeper, and I'm just going to have to be okay with it.
Why do you make fun of me?
You put that on for Tully, and she loves it.
That's true.
Tully is our cat, who we call her an iPad baby, and she loves to watch TV and cartoons and everything.
Which I'm actually glad you mentioned Crypt Keeper, because that's another late 80s, early 90s scary show for kids, just a cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess that does work. But it's on Amazon Prime, so like on my days off when I'm like cleaning or whatever, I have that on in the background, and our cat Tully just sits and watches and loves it. But so he tells them this story, and they're like, all right, well, it's getting late, we gotta go. And he's like, oh, you want more coffee? Which is a very creepy thing to ask. But they're like, no, we gotta go. So they leave, and they go home, and they go to bed. And then Andrew, the younger brother, wakes up with a nightmare. And he goes to the parents' room like, hey, can I sleep in here? Mind you, he's like, what, 12? He's 12 in this movie.
He's 12. He's 12.
A little too old to be asking to sleep in the parents' bed.
No, I don't think so.
He's tall for his age. It would be uncomfortable.
He's tall for his age, but still, that's a child.
I guess.
If you get scared, you get scared.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, obviously you're going to go to your parents and be like, I saw a monster, something, or if you watch a scary movie at that age, and it triggers you, then yeah, of course you're going to go to your parents and say you're scared.
Him being scared comes up a lot in this movie because Andrew's kind of a puss. Because then he wakes the mom up and she's like, no, go to bed. And she walks in to the bedroom and smacks Carl in the face because she's like, you've been taking him to the mortician's house again, haven't you? And he's like, no. So she's like, I don't want you going back there. Like, it's not okay.
He's like, I don't like that man. Like, you need to stay away.
Which I kind of side with the mom a little. Like, I like the mortician, I do. His name's Mr. Bennett. I'll just say that now.
Uh-huh.
I like Mr. Bennett. He's a great guy. But I do side with the mom. Hey, maybe don't go hang out with the old man who cleans dead bodies. It's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But from the looks of it, it looks like a small town. So I feel like the kids just kind of look for some type of entertainment.
It's true. It's another small town movie. It's like 4 people in it.
Yeah.
So the next morning, Carl, the older brother, who is uncomfortably into wrestling, beats the shit out of Andrew and calls him a wimp and, why did you tell mom and all this crap. And then Andrew goes to hang out with his friend who's a lot younger than him. He's like 4 years younger. I don't know.
No, he doesn't go to hang out with him.
Yeah, because then he's in the little shed with the kid.
The kid wants to hang. No, that's later on in the movie, and that was Carl hanging out with him, actually.
No, but they do show Andrew hanging out with him, and then he's like, "All right, I have to go. Like, I need to leave," because he's like, I'm being called a wimp, and now I'm hanging out with this child.
Oh, yeah, and the child's weird. The child was like, "You should marry my mom so you could be my dad." Mind you, the child is 9. Andrew is 12. So it was really weird.
And the kid's mom called Andrew pathetic, which is funny. It's like, my mom's right, you are pathetic. Like, all right, fuck you and your mom. So Andrew goes and he goes to Carl and he's like, hey, what can I do to get you to forgive me? Meanwhile, Carl's sitting there cutting up Andrew's homework like a piece of shit. And he's like, please, I'll do anything. And he's like, all right, I like the way you think. Let's go. And that's when he gets this idea that he's going to get the only 3 girls in town. And they're going to go to the cemetery and have a seance at a random grave, which turns out not to be random. And he brings like a Walkman and hides it under some bushes, and he's going to scare them, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, he's going to tell the girls the story of the Siamese twins, and, you know, they're going to play some spooky music and kind of scare them, because he's like, yeah, girls like to be scared.
Which you mentioned, like, as he said that, you're like, what girls? Who likes?
I know.
To
I was like, what girls? Because, yeah,
it was just funny. And then they go to the cemetery, and you know, as children do, they hang out in cemeteries. And he's looking for a place to hide the Walkman, and he rips up this root and hides it under that, and tells them the story. And of course, he's getting details wrong, so Andrew's correcting him. And then, you know, he plays the music, and it's like evil laughing, and the girls get scared, and they're like, oh, it's fun. But then he takes the Walkman, he takes the cassette out, and then the laughing continues. Mm-hmm. And Andrew's like, all right, like, you know, cut the shit, basically. Like, what are you doing? And
no, you hear a baby crying.
You hear a baby crying. And then Carl holds up the cassette tape, like, nothing's in there. So nothing is playing, so I don't know where that's coming from. And they all look at each other and get up and run away. And then that's when you see it's like worms that are like glowing coming out of the ground.
Yeah, you see like glowing worms out of the ground. They actually like realize that they're in the worms. Mm-hmm. So then that's when they like freak out and jump up. And they're like, I don't like this. Like, at first they're like, okay, Carl, like, you could stop. Like, and he's like, it's not me. And they finally, like, got up, ran off, I'm out of here. Mm-hmm. So they all go home. And from there, like, in the morning, I guess the Undertaker goes to the cemetery with a client, I guess you would say. Or...
Now, he goes because... Well, first the dog goes by the worms. Mm-hmm. There's that dog in the cemetery. Goes by the worms, and then his eyes start glowing bright white, and then it cuts away. And then Mr. Bennett, he goes to the cemetery to... I don't know if he's checking out, like, a plot or something like that. But he goes and he meets the gravedigger, who is the laziest piece of shit I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
This fucking guy. So he's sleeping in the excavator. Like the big shovel, he's sleeping in it. And then Mr. Bennett's like, hey, you know, where's this plot? Show me. And he's like, oh, I guess. It's like, what do you mean? This is your fucking job. Like, get off your ass. He's like, all right, let's go. Now, as they're walking to that, Mr. Bennett, I don't know, he turns and goes to a different grave. I don't know what made him do that. I don't know if he just got a feeling. But he turned and went to the other grave where the kids were at the night before.
Yeah, I think he just something was off. Yeah, he probably did get a feeling, and then he found their cassette tape.
Yeah, he found the Walkman, which the Gravedigger immediately takes because he's a piece of shit, and he's like, "Oh, this is mine now." And then they find like I don't know, like candy or whatever, and then they turn and there's the dog just staring at them, growling. And he's like, "Oh, she's a sweetheart. Don't worry about it." And the Gravedigger's like, "I don't fucking like dogs, man." And the dog just goes rabid and attacks the Gravedigger and is like chewing the shit out of him. And then Mr. Bennett jumps in the hearse and drives and picks him up and then takes him home and carries him into the house. He's like, "I don't know what happened. She's never like that. She's like the most innocent dog in the world." And the Gravedigger, of course, is like, "Well, I need workman's comp. I need to lay on my couch and watch, Price is Right or whatever the fuck."
Yeah, I'm hurt, you know.
And he's like, I can't work today. I'm sorry. You got to get someone else." And then Mr. Bennett goes to the kid's house because he recognizes the Walkman, and he's like, "All right, I need to know what the kids were doing in the graveyard." So he goes to their house, and then we learn that the kid's mom doesn't like Mr. Bennett. One, because he's a creepy old man. Fair. And two, because he fucked up the funeral of her mother like a year or two before. They're kind of vague on the details, but we learn that he fucked up her funeral.
And she wasn't, they weren't able to display her body, pretty much.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, it could have happened to anybody," but it's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
So she basically yells at him to fuck off, and then he leaves.
And stay away from my kids. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "I need to talk to your boys." And she's like, "No, you don't.
You don't need to hang out with my children. I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you not doing that." And then there's another scene, if you're trying to figure out like what kind of guy Mr. Bennett is. There's another scene where he's finishing up like a viewing, like a wake, and the family's leaving. And the father of the family played, you don't know, I mentioned him, you don't know who he is. He's a comedian, Jim Gaffigan. This is like early Jim Gaffigan. And
I know, I loved how you said his name to me. You were like, "Oh, that's him." And then I was like, "Oh, okay, who is that?"
Yeah. Well, because you don't like stand-up that much. I watch more of that than you do.
Yeah, I could be very picky.
Yeah.
I feel like with stand-up, like, some stand-up comedians, they say, like, a chuckle here and there. Like, some of them can be very funny. And then I feel like others that do stand-up comedy, they maybe get, like, one or two jokes I might find funny. But then the other ones are kind of, like, lame. It can be a little cringy at times.
Yeah.
But I guess I gotta find the right humor for me.
Yeah. Jim Gaffigan's more of like a family comic. But anyway, he's in the movie. He plays a piece of shit, like cheap father trying to get out on the bill of the funeral. And Mr. Bennett runs out with like an itemized receipt, like right after the viewing. Like he could have mailed it to them. But like he's like, "Oh, it's all itemized, here you go." And Jim Gaffigan grabs it and he's looking at it. He's like, $30 for coffee. And he's like, "I didn't ask you to put out cold cuts or anything like this." And then he throws the receipt in his face and drives away. But Mr. Bennett's trying to like make a buck anyway he can, really.
I mean, regardless, yeah, you do pay for those things. But I feel like before you should charge for that stuff before you even go ahead and have the funeral.
Well, you should have that conversation before the funeral even happens.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like all of that stuff should be itemized, invoiced, everything, and then you look at packages and stuff with them. I know it's tough times and everything, but you can't just invoice afterwards and be like, "Actually, no, like these were not included. You have to pay."
Yeah. All the while. Anytime you see Mr. Bennett, you see it's his grandson, I think, Kenneth.
His grandson, yes.
Who is we'll talk about him more later, is probably the dumbest person ever. Like, he's actually stupid.
Yeah, and I think he's like learning to be the next Undertaker.
Yeah, he's trying to fill that role, but he's just a fucking moron. So, it cuts to the girls from
The cemetery.
The cemetery, and they weirdly hang out in a camper, like an RV in the backyard. But I guess, like, what else are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
So they're walking to the camper, and then they hear the sound of like a baby crying, and they look, and there's nothing there. It's like, all right, let's just get in the fucking camper. And then this girl in a Girl Scout uniform shows up to the front door and like asks where they're at, and the mom's like, they're in the fucking camper. And the girl's like, yeah, it's sign language night, and the mom's like, I don't give a fuck, and just closes the door in her face.
Yeah, mom's like baking cookies, and she's holding her like infant child in her other hand, and she was like, oh no, like that's bad for the baby and stuff.
Yeah, like, fuck you. She's like, oh, you're baking cookies? That's so bad for the baby. And the mom's like, just fuck off.
Like, fuck off, go to the camper or don't. Like,
what else would you have me do? Fuck off.
Yeah.
So she slams the door in her face, and the girl goes to the back, like towards the camper. And then she looks down, and there's the worms again, like the glowing green worms from the cemetery. And that's what's fucking with people. And then I don't even want to say, I guess infected. So she gets infected and then infects the other girls. And then you...
possessed, maybe?
Possessed, yeah, that's a better word. And then it cuts to a guy driving his truck on this like dirt road, and he's listening to the radio, and there's like reports of like roaming girls causing mayhem, and they say it's harmless pranks, but then they throw like a rock at his window and runs him off the road. And he like crashes. Like, that's not harmless. He could have died.
Yeah, I know. They get insane. Nickelodeon gets insane.
Especially with this one.
Nickelodeon tests the boundaries. I was telling Josh that I love a lot of like Nickelodeon original films. They don't have too many that are good, but the ones that are good, they really do test the boundaries. Like one of my favorites, Fun Size. They always test the boundaries in that one.
Oh, we do love Fun Size.
I love Fun Size. One of my many comfort movies.
Yeah, we watch that one a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think you just watch it by default because I'm always watching it, and then you end up sitting next to me and watching it too.
There's been times where I've come home and be like, hey, can we watch Fun Size?
And I'm like, bet, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, yeah, they fucking run this poor guy off the road, and he crashes in a ditch, and he's like, what the fuck? And then you just see the girls run by, like, screaming, doing whatever, and they fuck off into the cornfield. And then Andrew is like, I'm gonna go talk to the girl that he likes. Because he sneaks out because, they have dinner, and basically he's asking his mom, like, or he tells his mom, you're the reason that I'm such a wimp because you baby me too much. And the mom's like, what the fuck, man? Like, she's like, it's your fault. Like, don't be a bitch, basically. And so I'm paraphrasing, obviously, it's Nickelodeon still. But, so they get into an argument, then he goes upstairs, and him and Carl are in their room talking, and then Andrew just grabs his shit and, like, jumps out the window. Mind you, middle of the day. He doesn't have to do that. They're allowed out of the house. They're not grounded. But he sneaks out of the window anyway.
I feel like the parents would ask where he go, like, especially if the mom's a helicopter mom, like, I feel like he did kind of have to jump out the window.
Yeah, but
leave.
There's nothing happening in the town that they know of, so that they could have been like, hey, we're going for a bike ride. And she'd be like, okay. But, no, he's like, no, we gotta jump out the fucking window. We're doing it. And then Carl's like, oh, bet, let's go. So, they go out the window, they grab their bikes, and he's like, oh, I gotta go see Kathy, and apologize for the night before. And then that's when his little friend comes out, and he's like, oh, let me get my bike, I'll come with you. And then Andrew's like, I'm 12, you're 9. This could never work out. Like the weirdest conversation.
Yeah. It was because that was at that point. That's when he was like, "Oh, you could marry my mom,
Yeah.
and you could be my dad," which I thought was extremely weird. But
It's
and he's
odd.
like, "No." He was like, "You're 9, I'm 12. That's not even much of a difference."
Yeah.
And it's true. It's not much of a difference.
This could never work between us.
Yeah.
So the kid's like, alright, fuck you, and leaves. And they jump on their bikes and ride away. And they're riding, and Carl's like, oh, let's see how brave you are. And there's a train coming. So Carl fucking floors it towards the train and gets across the tracks just before the train hits him.
Yeah, and Andrew tries, but he's not able to keep up. So he ends up being stuck on the other side of the train tracks.
Yeah. So and it's a long ass train, so he's waiting a long time. And then it cuts to Carl, who gets sucked into the ground because there's worms there. And then he gets possessed. And then finally, when the train's done, Andrew goes and he's like, oh, that was fucking crazy, basically. And he's like, yeah, Kathy's not home. We gotta go. I know where she is. He's like, oh, okay. So he follows Carl, and they go to like this.
Barn.
They go to this giant barn, and Carl goes through first, and it's like pitch black inside, and then Andrew goes through and slips and falls in the mud. And then he's like, oh fuck. So Carl's like, all right, I know what to do. Just take your clothes off. Which, all right. So he strips down, and he's just in his like boxers, and then again it's pitch black, and then the lights kick on, and all the girls are there, and they just start throwing shit at him. Like,
Yeah, they all start throwing shit at him.
they're pelting him with like vegetables and like rocks and shit. Like, the fuck. And then he tries to run and get out, and the door's locked. And then he hears a noise, and he turns around, and the fucking girls let like this giant bull in to attack him.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, this is not a harmless prank. He would die like
Yeah,
very
he
fast.
was, and his underwear were red too. So
Oh, I didn't
doesn't
notice
that
that.
attract the?
Yes,
Yeah,
they don't
Okay.
they don't like the color red.
they don't like the color red. So yeah, obviously the bull is like charging at him, and he's like banging on the lock of the door.
And luckily, the farmer was there, and he opens the door at the last second and pulls him out. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing in my barn?" And then slams the door. And then Andrew runs completely, just almost naked in his boxers. He's running through town trying to get home. And then that's when he comes across a bunch of guys getting drunk on their porch. Again, Nickelodeon people are getting hammered. And he sneaks around back to like steal clothes off the line and run home. And then as soon as he leaves, it shows the guys getting drunk like up close, and all their eyes are glowing bright white because they're all possessed too. And then they set their boat on fire.
They're gonna be so sick when they're not possessed anymore.
Yeah.
They'll be so sick.
They're just laughing, burning shit, like they're having a great time. And then Andrew runs to Mr. Bennett's, and that's when Bennett tells him part of the story that
Was left out because they had to leave to go home, which was that he was the one who did the procedure of separating the Siamese twins, and he fucked up and put the evil twin in the cemetery and the good twin in the field.
because he says this too. He's like, I'm not a great mortician. It's like, yeah, no shit. And he was like, what did you guys fucking do in the graveyard? And it's like, oh, we did a seance. And he's like, all right, well, you raised the spirit of the evil twin. Great job, dumbass. Like, so then he leaves, and then Mr. Bennett goes back to the gravedigger's house because of something he said earlier, like, don't mess with the grave, it's bad luck.
Don't cut
Don't
vines too close to the stone, the tombstone, and then it's just like a superstition. He basically says that the vines close to the stone is like their soul.
It's their soul, like, coming out as a root. Mm-hmm. And if you break that, you release the soul. You release
the soul.
Which, that was the vine that fucking Carl snapped to hide the Walkman. Mm-hmm. So he released the spirit. And then the mom goes to find Andrew and apologize, and this is where one of those tropes that I love is the dad is just a useless piece of shit. Because he's like, you're babying him, just leave him alone. And he's just sitting there watching like a monster truck show, which is very 90s. And then she's like, no, I need to go talk to him. And she gets up and he immediately changes the channel to like supermodels in bikinis. And he's like, all right, whatever. And she goes and sees that he's gone, and then she runs downstairs and he's like, look, we could go look for them all night and never find them. Or we could just let them be kids and we'll see them in the morning. She's like, you're a piece of shit. So,
yeah, and pretty much, I had brothers growing up. You didn't. Boys need their space. They need their time to, like, get out and be boys.
Any excuse to not look for his own children.
Pretty much.
He does not want to leave that couch.
Yeah.
So she goes out looking for them, and that's when she
finds Andrew at the Undertaker's.
Oh yeah, she knew exactly where he was. She went there and picked him up, and then she goes home, and Carl's already there, and he's still possessed, obviously, and he's like, Andrew, I'm really sorry. I hope we could move past this. Like the shitty brother in Home Alone, like fake ass apology, like I'm sorry.
Yeah, before that, the Undertaker told Andrew, "Don't be alone with Carl. Don't be alone with him."
And he was yelling that to Andrew as he was getting in the car with his mother, and the mom's like, "Can you fuck off? Like, leave my kids alone." So then Andrew is like, "All right, I'm gonna go take a shower, whatever." Mm-hmm. And he goes and he locks himself in and takes a shower. And Carl's like, all right, I'm going to fucking possess him. So he goes up and, like, picks the lock of the bathroom and goes in. And he pulls open the shower curtain, and there's no one in there because Andrew already snuck out. And he was heading back to Mr. Bennett's, right?
That was really clever, though.
It was
too.
Smart.
That was so clever. I was like, oh, shit, like, I wouldn't even think to do something like that. Like, oh, I'm gonna go take a shower. Like, okay, apology accepted. Lock the door and everything.
It was smart.
He changed real quick, jumped out the window.
Yeah, he changed because he was wearing old man giant clothes that he stole. And he goes back to Mr. Bennett's to, I guess, not to hear the rest of the story, but to, like, get his help to find where the other grave is.
Well, how to stop it, pretty much. And why was he was knocked unconscious or something?
Mr. Bennett?
Yeah.
Yeah, because fucking Andrew's dumb little friend shows up with a toy lightsaber and, like, beats the shit out of him.
Isn't he possessed? Wasn't he possessed too?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was possessed and, like, starts beating the crap out of this old man. Mind you, Mr. Bennett is old, so...
He's elderly.
So, I thought he was dead at this point. I remember when I first watched it, I was like, oh. I was like, the little black boy killed him?
Yeah, because the little kid's obsessed with Lord of the Rings, and he sees the giant ring on his finger, like his class ring for Mr. Bennett, and he beats the shit out of him with a toy lightsaber, and takes the ring, and he's like, my precious, and then he just runs away. And then that's when Andrew shows up, finds Mr. Bennett. Then he finds his grandson. What was his name? Kenneth? That was
Kenneth was there, and then he was like, Kenneth, help me. And then Kenneth smacks him.
He punches him in the chest.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you have to go to the great... Basically, this is when he tells him, like, you got to go to the other grave and cut the root of the good twin to basically bring balance and restore.
Which I don't know how that would work, but
I guess it's kind of like a cancel out type of thing.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know. He was just kind of like, well, the bad spirit is out, so you gotta unleash the good spirit.
Yeah.
To restore. It makes sense.
Yeah. Before Mr. Bennett could tell him where exactly to go, he passes out. Because, again, he got the shit kicked out of him by a child. And Kenneth's like, oh, I know where it is. I go there all the time. And Andrew's like, fucking sweet, dude, let's go. And he's like, you got your license, right? He's like, yeah, I do. Cool. They jump in the hearse, they're driving, and this is when Kenneth just starts to get retarded. Because they're driving along, and Andrew's like, all right, so which way do we turn? He's like, to go where? And he's like, to Crybaby Lane. What's that? He's like, you said you knew where it was. He's like, oh, yeah, no, I have no idea. And then a cop is like chasing them because they're like speeding down a dirt road. And Andrew's like, all right, man, just pull over. He's flashing the lights at you. He's like, oh, I don't have my license. And it's like, why did you say any of this? Why even enter the room? And he's like, yeah, I got my license. I know where we're going. And it's like, no, fucking useless ass. So they do pull over, and then you see the eyes of the cop, and he's also possessed. So he starts ramming into them and trying to, like, push them off the road.
Basically kill them. Like, insane.
Mm-hmm. And they're speeding away, and they turn into a cornfield, and they stop, and that's when... Is that when the big, like, harvester crashes into them?
Well, first they go into, like, this forest-looking thing in the woods.
They pull over because they see the farmhouse from the story.
Uh-huh.
And then they see Carl. And Carl's, like, creepy walk running after them. So they jump in the car and, like, speed off into the cornfield.
Yeah, and then when they jump into the cornfield, there's that, I don't know what that's called, but that truck.
It's a combine harvester.
See, I was not going to know that.
No, That's white people shit.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. It's heavy farm equipment.
I'm shocked that you knew what that was. You were like, yeah, it's this.
Half of my family is redneck, so I know what it is. It's a machine that cuts corn.
Yes, machine that cuts corn. And dummy proof for, like, me or anybody in my level.
Yeah, layman's terms. Cuts corn.
Yes.
So, the car is stalled out. Andrew and Kenneth see this giant machine coming. The guy driving the machine is also possessed, of course. Andrew jumps out and runs. Kenneth can't get out. And this giant harvester just slams into the car and flips it over. And you think, oh, Kenneth's fucking dead, bro.
Yeah, I know. Like, I don't even know how he survived that because it looked like the car got, like, crushed and dragged and everything.
The blades went through the window where he was sitting. He should have been dead.
He should have been dead, but
we were hoping. No.
It's still Nickelodeon, so, you know.
We were hopeful, but... Yeah.
I was not hopeful.
I was hopeful. No, Kenneth was stupid as shit.
He seemed like the only other person that was not possessed.
He wasn't, because he was too stupid to get possessed.
Yeah.
That's my theory. He was too dumb.
The evil twin was like, I don't want this one.
He's like, you have it bad enough as it is.
Yeah. This is where it starts getting extremely creepy. Everything up to this can be overlooked. In my opinion, even though, like, there's times that, like, the kids are trying to, like, you know, they're very brutal towards things, but I feel like that stuff can be overlooked. This is when it starts, like, not being to the point that you can overlook.
This is more Children of the Corn.
Yes.
So, Andrew's in the cornfield, of course. all the little possessed girls come out, and Kathy, the one he loves, is there.
And they start circling him.
They surround him, and Kathy's like, "Don't you want to kiss me?" And he's like, "Fucking what?" And she's like, "Yeah, just kiss me." And he's like getting super uncomfortable. So she gets closer and closer, and then sticks her tongue out, and a spider crawls out. And he's like, "What the fuck?" And they gave him the option. They say either kiss her or you get Chi-Chi. And he's like, "The fuck does that mean?" So
I still don't know what Chi-Chi means.
it's the nickname of the other person, but it's like, you're not gonna kiss her? All right, you get Chi-Chi. And this giant beast of a Girl Scout comes out. She was 8 foot tall, fucking shredded, buff as shit. If you've ever seen Dodgeball and they're versing the Girl Scout troop and they get disqualified because the girl was on beaver tranquilizers and she's giant and hairy, that's what I'm thinking. So she comes out and just starts swinging on Andrew, trying to just kill him. And Andrew takes off into the down into the cornfield, and this giant girl, presumably Chi-Chi, is chasing him. And he remembered a wrestling move that Carl did on him earlier on in the movie where he tripped him. And this girl is walking, and you see legs come out and just trip her, and she hits the ground fucking hard.
Yeah. Knocks
her out cold. Mm-hmm. And Andrew jumps up and he continues running, and then he stops and looks down, and he sees the worms, right?
He sees the worms, and then Nickelodeon takes it too far at this point. He gets sucked into the worms, and he's underground now in this grave, in the casket of the good twin, I guess you would say.
This is the scene that stuck with me since 2000.
Yeah, I could only imagine.
The way I had nightmares about this exact scene.
I believe it. I bet you that was a scene that all the parents were writing letters about.
Yeah, because he's underground. He's in the grave, and it looks like a big dirt tunnel, basically. And he hears a voice calling out to him, "Oh, hey, Andrew, how are you?" Really creepy and nonchalant voice. And Andrew looks, and there's this deformed little man just curled up in the corner. And he's like, "Oh, we're just playing around, and you could be one of my playthings too, and Carl's a good friend of mine, and you could be a good friend." Saying really creepy shit.
Yeah, and he's eating the worms.
Yeah, he takes a big handful of worms and he's just going to town.
Yeah, and I would be like, how did they think this was okay for kids to watch?
So they did something that I've seen done before, where they framed the camera a certain way to make shit more uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
So, if it's something scary for children, the camera's going to be lower so that the horrifying thing looks bigger in the eyes of the child. The camera was lower while filming this creepy, deformed man, and it made it scarier.
Yeah.
Especially with the lighting, and you barely see his face, you just see, his mouth and, his eyes. And Andrew's he's my brother, you can't have him, kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's trying to get to because on the ground there's a skeleton.
Yeah, it's literally a grave of a dead child.
Uh-huh. So he's trying to find the root, as the dirt is basically the tunnel's kind of caving in on him.
Yeah, it's starting to collapse because this deformed dead child is trying to murder Andrew in a dirt cave. It's really creepy. So everything is collapsing around him. Andrew, you hear the voiceover of Mr. Bennett, "Oh, you need to get the root from the heart, and that'll set them free." So he's running, and he's grabbing at the root, and shit's collapsing, and it's really tense, and then he snaps it, and then he opens his eyes, and he's like back on regular ground.
Yeah, and it's daytime. Everything's restored. People are waking up. Like, they feel like they had like some type of nightmare that they were stuck, and they're waking up. Like, what happened? What happened?
You know, they're like, oh, what a weird dream. Like, what's going on? And then Kathy comes out, and Andrew's like, oh, hey, Kathy. Like, nothing was happening. And she's like, basically, like, the fuck, man? Like, what happened? And he's like, you know.
Well, at first he's kind of hesitant by her.
Yeah, because he doesn't know she's okay yet. But then she acts like normal Kathy, and he's like, oh, okay. And then, yeah, they all go home, basically. They're like, I don't know why we're all out here, but we need to leave. So they all go home, and, you know, it starts to, you know, things are starting to go back to normal. And then you see Andrew and his now girlfriend, Kathy, at Mr. Bennett's house, sipping coffee, listening to stories. And I guess Mr. Bennett was telling Kathy the story of what happened, basically. I think.
I thought yeah, that, and then he was going to tell her another ghost story.
Yeah.
Too.
It was now like their new thing, because Carl's like, I've had enough. Like, I can't do it anymore. Because then you see Carl, and he's hanging out. I mentioned this, and you were like, no, they're both kids. It's fine. Carl's like 15. The child is 9. Carl is now hanging out with this child in a shed.
I thought he was like 14.
Still bad. They're hanging out in a shed, him and this little boy.
They were playing like board games or something.
The boy wanted to play Lord of the Rings, and Carl wanted to wrestle him. It was really uncomfortable.
Okay, the wrestling part, yes. Okay, that's weird, yes.
It was very uncomfortable.
It is a small town, though. Like, I feel like if you grow up with everybody...
I find it unacceptable. It's really weird. It could be a town of literally only 3 people. Don't wrestle a 9-year-old in a shed.
No, don't wrestle a 9-year-old. But I feel like hanging out-wise, like, if there's not that many people in town, and you're just like, okay, like, let's play board games, let's play basketball or something, that's fine.
It's fine. Don't wrestle.
Yeah, no.
Like, I grew up in, like, me and all my friends were all different ages. We didn't wrestle. We played video games. We played shit of the time. Board games, video games, the normal basketball. Normal shit. We didn't wrestle each other in a shed. And then that's the end of the movie. It ends creepy in a shed. I guess Nickelodeon thought this was like a high note, like very positive. I found it creepy. Nonetheless, this movie stuck with me since it came out.
It was a very, very good movie.
It's a great movie.
So the other times that they premiered it was obviously 2011. They reran it after that Reddit post. They reran it March 31st, 2015 on a special of 90s or All That. Then after that, it was October 31st, 2016, the following year. Then 2 more times, July 8th, 2017, and October 20th, 2017 would be the last time that they rerun it.
Yeah, that was before Nickelodeon went to, like, super childish.
Yeah, so by the time Josh showed me the film, he had rewatched it from, like, basically that Reddit post of that person posting it, and obviously with the VHS tape, it wasn't good quality. But when they decided to rerun it, 2011, and so on, there are better tapes of it now, so you can look that up on YouTube now, Crybaby Lane, and it's pretty decent quality.
The one we watched last night was good quality.
Yeah, it was pretty good quality.
And it was one of the ones where they did show, you know, the commercials and whatnot from that night it originally aired.
That was nostalgic because you could tell that it was like a Halloween special thing, and then you see like the old little Halloween things pop up, like the Hey Arnold, Halloween episode coming next.
Real Monsters, Rugrats.
Yeah, Rugrats. All like the Halloween ones.
Yeah.
It was funny because that actually was what made me want to watch Rugrats yesterday.
We watched a lot of Rugrats.
And I was like, I really want to watch a Halloween episode. So I just found one, and then Josh and I were just going back and forth between, oh, let's watch this episode. Oh, remember this episode?
Yeah.
And it's just great.
I like nostalgia. I still watch the cartoons from when I was a kid. I have no shame in that. It's fun for me.
Simpler times.
Exactly. It was simpler times. It was a time when you didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. Miss the time of just not working, not having to work.
Yeah. Ugh.
Every single day.
Fucking hate working.
I feel like we work. Like, I feel like kids, at least here in America, like kids have summer vacation to look forward to, spring break to look forward to, winter break to look forward to. And I feel like they're so spoiled with that. And then it's just like, what do we have to look forward to? Just the weekend. Because then we have to go back to work.
Death? No. Yeah.
Retirement.
Oh,
yeah, like...
Can't come soon enough. But
yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to show you this movie for the longest time because when we first got together, you know, you didn't watch as many horror movies as I did.
So I watched more mainstream horror movies, and then whatever would come on TV, I would sit and like watch it. But usually, what comes on TV is more mainstream stuff, like Chucky and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Or like any Redbox films.
Redbox. Yeah.
That'd be like low budget indie films. Sometimes I'd watch those, but yeah, you definitely expanded my horizons. There you go. That's the word. I was like, I can't.
Horizons of horror. I've expanded them.
Yes, and now like I know originally like I couldn't sit through like a gory movie, and now like it just doesn't faze me at all. I know eventually I would find certain things funny that like the average person doesn't find funny, and then I'm like, oh man, my husband made me fucked up.
Yeah. We'll be at the theater watching a really gory movie and just laughing our asses off and people stare at us like we're insane.
I know, and then I go to see it with like my friends or family members, and they see me laughing and they're like, you're a little fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I am.
We're not that bad though. There's worse people than us.
True.
There's like, and I've met the director by accident. So there's a movie trilogy called August Underground, and they're like super gory, low budget, fucked up movies. Director lives in New Jersey. He lives up in Warren. The movies, I'm pretty sure he filmed around Warren and...
Probably. I mean, there's good locations there to film.
A lot of great locations.
Mm-hmm.
And...
very woodsy.
Yeah. I met him accidentally. He stopped at my store one day. And I recognized him. I recognized, you know...
You met that actress girl, too.
The one from, Children of the Corn.
Was she from Children of the Corn? She was also from, I can't remember her name, but she was in, what was that called? My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. She was the daughter in that.
Yeah. It's,
You met her.
Elena Camporis.
Yeah, and she was also in that, she was also in a Nickelodeon movie.
Was she?
Called Jinxed.
Ah, yeah.
With Sierra Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, she stopped at my store one day with her father. And her father was
she's from
like,
here too.
Her father was weird. I guess he's her agent, and he was trying to like. I don't know what he was trying to do. He was like, "Oh, do you know who she is? Do you know what she's been in? Like this?" And I'm like, Why are you trying to sell her to us? Like, we can't do anything for her.
I know. Like, are you trying to marry her off or something?
Yeah, which she almost went out with my coworker, John. So that was interesting. But...
maybe that.
But the reason I brought up the other guy that I met is because their fans are more fucked up than we are. Because when they show their movies, they show it in like a weird, like, tin-walled warehouse, and there's like dirty couches and a bunch of like grungy people go to watch it, and you just see this fucked up movie, and then they're like, so what'd you guys think? And they're like, oh, that was beautiful. Like, it's really... So there's worse people out there than we are. But, you know, we'll watch, you know, Art the Clown put rats in people and, like, set them on fire any day of the week.
Yeah, it's just... yeah, he's just hilarious.
Yeah.
They made him hilarious in the third one. Not a great plot, but they made him really funny.
We talk about that movie too much, and I think we need to review it at some point, even though everybody's probably seen it.
We will. We'll do like a nice little special for it.
We could talk about all of them.
What's funny is, so going back to Crybaby Lane a little bit, early 2000s movie, I pulled up the cast list. I know you know two people from there. I don't know any of these actors or actresses.
Yeah.
I was like, do I know a single person on here? And I'm scrolling endlessly, and I'm like, I don't know any of these people. But I can guarantee you, what makes me laugh is that the person that plays Carl, the older brother, his name is Trey Rogers. The picture in the cast list is this black dude.
Yeah, that's not Carl.
And I'm like, this is definitely not Carl. And I don't know why they put some random... I mean, I guess there's another Trey... Obviously, there's another Trey Rogers out there. I don't know if the Trey Rogers that actually played Carl, if he is an actor anymore, or maybe he just was. I don't even know who pops up for him. I just think that's hilarious.
It's the same thing on IMDb. It's the same picture and everything. Like, that's not...
Yeah, this is not the actor. But this Trey Rogers that is popping up, he's an actor also, apparently.
Yeah. It's just a funny thing, because we were watching the movie, and you looked at the cast list, and you're like, who the fuck is that?
It says that he's in Crybaby Lane.
Unless he was the little kid, but I don't think that's him.
No, because it's marked as Carl. The little kid is someone completely different. See, Mark John Jeffries is the kid.
Oh, yeah.
The child.
So who the fuck is that guy?
I don't know.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But if you want a good laugh, pull it up on Google, search Crybaby Lane, and then hit the cast button, and you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's not in the movie.
So have a good laugh about that, because I laughed for a pretty good time for that. I was like, who the heck is this? I was like, that's definitely not Carl.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, they're two white boys.
Yeah, very white.
So, it's Ohio. Small town in Ohio.
Yeah. Older brother, possibly a predator. We don't know yet.
Probably. That's Crybaby Lane, too.
Oh, God. That's why the baby's crying.
If they ever do something like that.
They won't, but I wish they would.
Yeah, so the director was flattered to hear that people were like actually looking for this film and stuff. And he actually was unaware that Nickelodeon like supposedly banned it. Even though they will not come out and say they banned this movie. They just said that it was forgotten, so it's considered a lost film. Yeah, and he just thought like Nickelodeon just didn't like it, and he considered it a failed movie.
He didn't direct anything else after that, did he?
Apparently, he worked on other projects after that. I'm not necessarily sure what he worked on afterwards, but yeah.
It's not a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie. It just did not belong on Nickelodeon. It belonged more on, I don't know, what are the other platforms around that time? Maybe like ABC Family. I think you could get
by on that.
If you put it late at night, you could get by on that.
WB11 would be the channel back then.
WB11. Okay.
That was like more teenage shows.
Because I was going to say, like, a platform that you'd put more...
Yeah, WB11 with the stupid frog in the top hat coming out. WB. Yeah, that one.
You could pass it by, like... I wouldn't necessarily say full-on horror with this one. I would say, like, PG-13.
Yeah. PG-13.
PG-13 would be the best rating for it, but definitely did not belong in Nickelodeon. Disney would never.
Had no business. Yeah.
Disney would never.
Disney had some fucked up movies too, but not to this extent.
They did too, but not to this extent, yeah.
Like Don't Look Under the Bed. Creepy ass movie.
Still nothing compared to this one.
No.
Nothing. That makes that one look like Dragon Tales or something.
Tales. But yeah, so we got something new this week.
Yeah, so I got a wheel, a fun little wheel, and we put different categories on it. So I'll go ahead and read you the categories, but we figured that we would try to make this a little fun weekly for us and put like different categories, and then depending on whose week it is, since it'll be my week next week, I'll spin the wheel and I'll have to pick a movie in that genre. I think it's like a nice little challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll test it out and see. So a couple of the ones I have on the wheel is supernatural, slasher, monster, comedy, cult classic, gore, 70s, 80s, or 90s, cannibalism,
psychological. We got teen horror, 2020s and up. And what's that last one?
Guess the Killer.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun one. I like that.
So, I wanted to spin the wheel once and then have Josh spin the wheel a second time and then choose from one of those two categories. But he was like, no, you're going to spin it once and then you got to do something from that.
Gotta play by the rules.
So, I'm hoping I get teen horror.
Go on, baby. Spin that wheel.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and spin it.
Ooh, it's fun. Ooh, okay.
What did I get? Cannibalism?
Yeah.
Oh, I got cannibalism. That's funny.
I know. I'm not going to say what movie it is, but I know exactly which one you're already going to pick. So I'm not going to say what it is, though.
Oh, I might throw you a curveball.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I have an idea.
And I think after a while we can change the...
We could switch it up, yeah.
We could switch it up.
Here's a good rule, though, for this. So you landed on cannibalism.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, when I spin it, if I land on that same one, I gotta spin again. Just so we don't get stuck in a genre, or subgenre.
Just so we don't get repeats.
Yeah.
Okay. And because I'm doing cannibalism next week, does that mean cannibalism should get erased, or...
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Not yet. But yeah. So next week, expect something to do with cannibalism. Fun for everybody. It'll be delicious.
But just for shits and giggles, if I were to spin again, I would have...
70s, 80s, or 90s.
Is it 70s, 80s, or 90s, or is it gore?
No, the little bob thing is technically on that.
Oh, that wasn't a good spin. That was right next to cannibalism.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, anyways, cannibalism, that's the rules. So I have to come up with whatever type of movie. I have some ideas, but we'll see.
I know exactly what those ideas are.
We'll see.
We'll see. But thank you guys again for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you go and watch the movie. It is on YouTube. It's free to watch. Enjoy it. See how fucked up it is.
And even though we pretty much spoiled it and told you the whole plot, like, you definitely, it is one of those films you have to really see it for yourself to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the grave scene, because once you get there, you're going to be like, oh, yeah. And we could all come back next week and talk about, like, yeah, I can't believe Nickelodeon did that.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Thank you guys. We will see you next time with a movie about cannibalism.
Yep.
Bye.
Wish me luck.
Yeah, good luck. Bye, guys.
Bye.